Hi, I'm here to talk to you about same-sex couples and adoption. Having children is something that most couples dream about. For some couples, this is something that comes easy, and for others, it is something that cannot happen naturally. Same-sex couples are a prime example of a couple who cannot have children naturally. Most of these couples look to adoption as their alternative. For any couple looking to adopt, there is a process that they must go through before they can actually have the child. For same-sex couples, this process is even harder as the law has intervened. While same-sex adoption has come a long way, there are still some hurdles that need to be jumped. While same-sex adoption is legal in all 50 states, it is something that should be legalized in every county of every state and all over the world. Same-sex couples deserve every opportunity that opposite couples receive. Same-sex adoption isn't new. It has been in the media for well over 20 years, and we have come a long way. In 1993, there were two separate cases in two different states that went to trial. These two cases both involved same-sex couples, in which one of the mothers was the biological parent. The other mother was looking to adopt the respective child so that they could be families. While these cases seem to be going in favor of the couple, it is just an example that same-sex adoption has been in the news for years. If this was an opposite-sex couple, where a step-parent wanted to adopt the child of their significant other, it would not have been a headline then, and certainly not now. Even though same-sex adoption is nothing new, it is still something that made headlines today. Earlier this year, it made headlines in Chicago when one of the candidates for Attorney General used same-sex adoption as a battling point against his opponent. Kwame Warul stated that his opponent, Erica Harold, had flip-flop views on same-sex adoption. Originally, before she was in politics, Harold had stated that she would, quote, prefer a child be placed in a foster home with abusive straight parents over being placed in a home with a loving gay couple, end quote. Currently, however, she states that she is for same-sex adoption. While this isn't groundbreaking news coverage, it is something that goes to show that there are still people running for office who view same-sex adoption and same-sex couples as the worst possible option for children, when in reality, they may be the best thing for them. Despite all the legal issues surrounding same-sex adoption, it is not slowing down the couples looking to adopt. The number of same-sex couples adopting is on the rise in recent years. In 2011, numbers across the country had increased. From 2008 to 2009, the percent of same-sex couples adopting increased from 8% to 19%, a huge jump in just 1 year. While the number is still a small percent, looking at the bigger picture, an increase of 11 percentage points is huge for the community. That means that many more couples have been allowed to adopt in their state. A win is a win. Not only is this an issue in the United States, but it's an issue all over the world. Recently, there have been cities around the world legalizing same-sex adoption. In 2016, Queensland, Australia, made the final steps towards legalizing it. While when the article was written, they were still in the process of the final legalization, it is still a huge step for the city. They are one of the last areas of Australia to move forward with this action. The community's minister, Shannon Fittman, is quoted as saying, I absolutely believe that Queensland should come into line with other states and territories and allow same-sex couples to adopt. Having someone in the government leading the way is a huge step in making sure this law passes. In Colombia, the highest court ruled allowing same-sex couples the right to adopt in 2015. They stated that barring gay people from adoption had unreasonably deprived children of the right to be raised by families. Again, this is such a huge step, not only for Colombia, but for the entire same-sex community. While they received some criticism from the Catholic Church, officials were ready with a rebuttal. The judge in the case argued that there is no evidence that same-sex couples were unfit parents and no compelling reason to bar them from the universe of potential adoptive parents. Many of those who are against same-sex adoption have said that they believe that the children are better raised in a home with a mother and a father. There are thousands of children in foster care and in need of adoptive parents all over the world, and limiting the pool of potential parents based on sexual orientation just isn't right. Colombia officials agreed with that. Unfortunately, not all officials feel that way. Here in the United States, there are still people in the legal positions who are fighting against same-sex adoption. In Kentucky, a judge flat out recused himself from hearing any cases that involved a same-sex couple. He said that he could not be impartial when hearing the cases. He simply stated that the reason as a matter of conscience. The judge in this case received criticism from recusing himself, with people questioning whether or not he could perform the rest of his duties as a judge. While I agree with that, I can also give the man credit for recusing himself. He could have kept his feelings to himself, kept hearing cases, and declined any same-sex couple that came into his courtroom. In Alabama, a 2017 law was passed that allowed adoption agencies the right to turn away same-sex couples looking to adopt for religious reasons. While the law does not extend to state and federal agencies, it is still a blow to the community. There are still many faith-based adoption agencies in the world, and for some it may be the only agency in their area. The governor who signed the bill claimed that this is not discrimination. Quote, "This bill is not about discrimination, but instead protects the ability of religious agencies to place vulnerable children in a permanent home," end quote. Alabama isn't the only state with a law like this. Michigan, Virginia, and the two Dakotas have passed laws similar to this one. Part of the reason that same-sex couples are having trouble with adopting children is due to the Catholic Church. Currently, in upstate New York, the Catholic Church have ended its foster care and adoptive services, at least until their contract renews in March 2019. The reasoning is that the state deems it discrimination for them to deny couples based on their sexual orientation. The Catholic Church would have to go against its teaching that marriage is between a man and a woman. While talking about the reasonings behind deciding to stop the program, Diocesan Director Sister Mary McCarrick stated, "We were in an interconvertible controversy between what the state is expecting, that we would be without prejudice, foster and adoption with couples that are same-sex, and the Catholic Church teaching that it is not a marital couple and that a child is best served to be with a man and a woman who are married." While respecting the Catholic Church teachings, there is nothing that supports the fact that children are better with a man and a woman. Same-sex couples are more likely to adopt and foster children than opposite-sex couples. And the goal should be placing children with a loving couple in a safe home, not based on their sexual preferences. There are currently thousands upon thousands of children in foster care systems, all of them looking for their forever home. The fact that we are limiting the number of homes they could be possibly put into, simply based on sexual orientation, is unconstitutional. As long as the parents looking to adopt can provide a safe and long-lasting home environment, it should not matter if they are gay, straight, or transsexual. What matters most is the child in question. While same-sex adoption is legal in every state, there are still cities and countries looking for loopholes. There are still countries around the world who do not allow it. While I'm not saying that every same-sex couple should be allowed to adopt, I believe that every couple, same-sex or opposite-sex, deserve the right to go through the process. If after the process they are legitimately deemed unfit, then that's fair. Not every couple is made to be parents, and not every couple should be parents. It's the fact that every couple should be given the chance. Thank you.